Hello there, welcome back to another video on the channel. Tonight, once more, we are looking at Hcmc. You guys do seem to enjoy the Hcmc updates, so that is what we are doing today. Of course, it is a Friday, so that means that we can do a reflection on how the stock has been moving in the past 5 days. A lot of that action has been to the downside, however, we are going to be talking about all of this and much more in tonight's episode. So if you are new around here, guys, make sure to leave a like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel, because like I said, we talk about Hcmc every single day. In this one, we're going to be asking some very important questions, which I have been hearing a lot in the comment section, such as, is Hcmc dead, and will the stock price ever recover to what it previously was? Well, of course, I am not a financial advisor, but like I did say, if you may enjoy watching this episode, please do make sure to subscribe, as it will be helping us out a lot. But now that I have mentioned that, let us jump into this video, starting off obviously looking at what the company does. Now, if you do want to see a bit more of an in-depth look at the company's background and what they do, we are doing that in tomorrow's episode. On Saturdays, we are going to do a bit more of an in-depth look at the company from a fundamental standpoint. But just to sum things up, guys, this company, obviously by the name, is kind of self-explanatory, but what they do is they work in healthier choices for life. So we can see on screen we have a lot of things to see. We have obviously their stores, which operate for, organic food and that kind of stuff. On top of that, they actually own vape stores as well, which is interesting. And I think this is really an area which could expand going forwards. So on top of that, we can see that they also have now an intellectual property holdings area for their company. Now this is around lawsuits and patents and things like that. Of course, at the moment we have the Philip Morris one going on, but potentially there could be more in the future if things do go in favour for Hcmc this time, and of course they potentially do find more patents which have been infringed on by perhaps other companies as well. So that's not an impossibility for the future going forwards, but of course right now we are just focusing on the Philip Morris lawsuit, but perhaps it is something to think about in the future. Yeah, but like I said, we obviously have the organic fresh food, which is interesting. We can see that they have, I believe, about 3 stores in this area. On top of that, they actually have 8 vape stores across the southeastern United States, so that's interesting as well. Of course, vaping is a big industry, as we already know, and that is why they are trying to work with Philip Morris now to get something sorted. I'm not sure if you guys did watch last night's episode. If you didn't, we're going to just quickly discuss it again. What we found out on the 10th was, of course, that there was an order granted for a motion of time to basically be extended. What this means is that it takes more time for the companies to be out of court, which could indicate to them potentially working on something in the background without the court system. Now, of course, we could be looking at a settlement. This is not guaranteed, I do need to mention that, but it isn't impossible that that could happen. Now, of course, if that was to happen, if they were to get a settlement which was in Hcmc's favour, this could give some fantastic results for the company in the long term. We're going to talk more about this in just a moment, but I thought I would just remind you if you did miss last night's episode. So of course, so far with Philip Morris, things are moving in a very interesting manner. I think we'll wait until about the 16th of April, perhaps even before, to find out what is really going to happen with this lawsuit, as they are going to be working on something, and of course they do need to reply by that date. So the next month or so is going to be interesting with Hcmc stock. Right now, we're just going to take a look at how the stock has been moving over the past 5 days and even over the past month. So of course, just looking at the month charts right now, we can see the story isn't too great. The stock is actually down in the past month by quite a lot. We saw highs back here at the 0.005 range, which was almost 5 times higher than where we are now. And you can see from about the 3rd of March, the stock price is still going down by a small amount, but it is quite level in comparison to the sell-off that we have previously seen. I think this has a lot of people asking a lot of questions. The main one of which is Hcmc stock dead? Why is it not moving very much at the moment? Well, I think that is a good question to ask. I think it is an interesting question to ask. First, addressing the issue of whether Hcmc shares are dead if the stock price is dead. This is just my opinion, guys, and of course I am not a financial advisor, but I think that Hcmc shares are not dead. I think what has happened with Hcmc is that the stock price hasn't even picked up to where it could potentially be going forwards into the future. Now, I'm not trying to, offend anybody in the comment section or anything, but I think a lot of the people who were saying that Hcmc stock is a scam or things like that, of course, I think these people have kind of got the mentality that a lot of Hcmc investors do have. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in my eyes, I don't think it is the best approach to have. I think when looking at Hcmc only a few months ago, we were seeing that initial date of the 26th. I think people were loading up on Hcmc shares, buying hundreds, buying thousands, perhaps some people even millions, expecting to become a millionaire overnight. Now, I'm sure you guys now don't even need me to tell you that was not going to happen, and I don't think it is going to happen right now. I'm not saying that Hcmc is or is not going to get you rich, because at the moment we just don't know. But even if it was to explode in price, let's just say by miracle it was to hit $1, $10, $100, let's say it was to hit $1 million, just for a example, and of course it's not going to happen that it's going to hit $1 million, but even if it was to, it's not going to happen overnight. If we're going to see any growth on Hcmc shares, it is going to be over time, and this is ultimately what people need to remember. There is a lot going on for Hcmc in the short term. We're waiting for about the next month or so to see what happens with this lawsuit. That's going to be the first catalyst in my opinion. I think that is what we need to really kickstart some growth. Obviously, if this one does work in Hcmc's favour, we are going to be seeing some fantastic things in share price increases in my opinion. But I think we need to remember Hcmc either way is a stock which you should be holding for at least a month. If you think it is going to rocket overnight, I hate to say it guys, it's not. Perhaps it could hit this 0.002 range, maybe in the next month or so, of course with hype leading up to the lawsuit, perhaps even higher than that. But if Hcmc is going to rocket, it's going to be over the next few months, if not the next year or so. That is not necessarily a bad thing. I think a lot of people did get caught up thinking that it was going to make them rich or a millionaire overnight. I think we just need to be a bit more realistic with Hcmc, give the stock a bit of time and just see where things go. So I don't think it is dead because right now we do have the catalyst which isn't 100% finished yet. Of course, a lawsuit, we are still having a bit of time to see what does happen with that. I think that is really going to be the initial thing which could basically make or break Hcmc in the short term. Long term though, I still do believe a lot of potential is on the table for the company. Obviously a lot of people are still interested in this one, a lot of people are still invested in this one. I have spoken about this before, but I own around 800,000 shares, a little bit more than that, but I can't remember the exact number without looking at my mobile phone on the side. But yeah, I own quite a lot of shares as you can tell, and I have spoken about this in previous videos. I'm going to mention it again. If you are looking to buy Hcmc right now, if you have bought Hcmc, you should only buy what you are willing to risk and potentially even lose. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but there is no guarantee that Hcmc is going to rocket. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say in this episode is that if you think that Hcmc is going to rocket, it isn't impossible and it probably could pick itself up by a decent amount in the next few months, but of course it is not going to happen overnight. I think if we all remember that, we'll be in a fantastic position. So like I said, Hcmc, catalysts are still on the way in my eyes. I think we could be seeing some big growth in the next few months. Now, of course, in the past 5 days, we are seeing a lot of sell-off action. And again, I think this is kind of what I was just speaking about, in the sense that a lot of people were very hyped for Hcmc. Not really a bad thing. Of course, it made a lot more people aware of Hcmc, which is good ultimately. But on the other hand, you know what? Like I said, once it started to stable out at this point here of around, let's call it 0.0018, I think a lot of people saw Hcmc as dead and started selling their positions because of course they thought they were going to get big profits overnight. And that is a real thing which I'm trying to talk about in this video. Of course, Hcmc isn't guaranteed to rocket at all, but even if it is going to, it's not going to happen overnight. And that is something that I know that I've mentioned it many a time in this video, but I think it is the ultimate thing that we all need to remember. So would I buy Hcmc right now? Honestly guys, I already own shares like I have mentioned, and I definitely would buy Hcmc. Looking at today, we are looking at a pretty flat day now because we are starting to bounce back up to this range here, which is the 0.0016 range. And of course, that is where we started off at around 9:30. So things are doing pretty decently today. So it is relatively flat. Again, we are bouncing back down towards the 0.0015 range. So we aren't even going to be finishing too far away from where we started off this morning, even if it was to finish on the 0.0015. So things not too bad today for Hcmc, but like I said, if you are willing to buy this one, just be aware that it's not going to make you rich overnight, and if anything, if it is to explode, it's going to happen over a more long and sustainable period of time. And of course, long and steady growth is the best of growth when we are looking at stocks. So please do remember that, guys. I just thought I would bring you another update because this is something that people have been talking about a lot in the comment section and in other people's videos. And again, I just wanted also to give you my personal opinions. So I hope this one wasn't too much of a rant. I just thought I would bring you that because, of course, I thought it was quite important and a lot of people have been asking. But yeah, tomorrow we are looking at the fundamentals of Hcmc, and on Sunday night we will be looking at my forecast into next week and what I can personally, see happening going forwards. So if you enjoyed this quick video, guys, I know it was about 10 minutes, but still, if you enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will, of course, see you in many other videos tonight, and of course many more in the upcoming week. Thank you so much for watching this one though. If you made it all the way to the end, salute. I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye until then.